There it is, First Peter. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I can remember that one. Man, shalom, shalom, Israel. Back again. Another beautiful Tuesday. We going into the Bible basics. Today, the name of the lesson is Real Housewives of Israel. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about our beautiful, our wonderful, our amazing foremothers. So let's open up. Let's start off with Proverbs 31. And we're going to read verse 10.
Proverbs chapter 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
So the Most High said, so Solomon's mother, first she was giving him game. She said, don't give your strength to a woman. Then she continues on and she says, who can find a woman so virtuous? Who can find a woman so amazing? Because her price is far above ruby. She's what you would call priceless, right? So I thought about going into a little history pertaining to our not so favorable foremothers. But I decided I'll probably do a synopsis at the end. Just depends on how I feel. I'd rather talk about our positive foremothers. Let's give our sisters, let's even give our brothers, some information and some insight on our foremothers that were a positive outlook, a positive influence, something that we could see and something that we could take notes of, whether it's something that we're looking for in a spouse or even as a woman, something that you want to become, right? So let's go to, actually, I want to get that in Peter. Let's go to 1 Peter 3. We just need verse 5.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 5. For after this manner in old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves.
So it says the holy women, let me get that. The holy women also who trusted in the Most High, right? Read.
Adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husband.
It said they decorated themselves. It was a beautiful thing. It said these women who believed in the Most High, who truly feared the Most High, because a lot of men do it too. But a lot of our sisters, they say they fear the Most High. They say they believe in His truth, but it doesn't show in how they deal with their, the head of their household, their husbands. But it said these women are foremothers. It says these holy women also who trusted in the Most High adorned themselves, being in subjection to their own husbands. It said them being in subjection adorned them. What does it mean to adorn something? To decorate. It beautified them when they were in subjection to their own husbands, right? So the scriptures are very, they speak very highly of a woman who has discipline, a woman who is submissive, and it ultimately counts it as wisdom to them. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's talk about some of our foremothers. And the first one up will be two of them, actually. We talking about Rachel and Leah. So let's go to Ruth first. I want to go to Ruth. Ruth chapter 4. Still talking about Rachel and Leah, but it's something that was written in Ruth at the time. Ruth chapter 4, and we're going to read verse 11.
Ruth chapter 4, verse 11. And all the people that were in the gate, and the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah.
So this is talking about Ruth. They said, make this woman like Rachel and like Leah. Because we don't really talk a lot about them. And what's crazy is without them, we wouldn't have the 12 tribes. But you don't hear, when we talk about the history of our foremothers, we don't give enough credence to them. Right? Read.
Which two did build the house of Israel.
Read that again.
Which two did build the house of Israel.
It said these women, without these women, there would be no house of Israel. It said they helped build the house of Israel, right? Read.
And do thou worthily in Ephrathah, and be famous in Bethlehem.
So let's go to Genesis chapter 29. So one of the things that our foremothers Rachel and Leah did is that they helped to build the house of Israel. And this is important because, like I said, a lot of us, we read about a lot of the brothers. We read about a lot of the history. But how much do we know about our foremothers? How much can we learn from our foremothers, brothers and sisters? It said these women helped to build the house of Israel. Let's go ahead and get a little history and actually see everything as it transpired. Let's go to Genesis chapter 29. And we're going to start at verse 29.
Genesis chapter 29, verse 29. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter, Bilhah his handmaid, to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren.
So if we backtrack just a little bit, we see that Jacob was obsessed with Rachel. And he told Laban, he said, I'm feeling your daughter. What do I need to do to get her? And Laban knew who the hell he was talking about, but he pulled a fast one. He said, look, work for me for 7 years, and you can have her. Cool. So he works for 7 years. They have a festival. Jacob, I guess, drunk a little too much. You know, when you get a little too drunk, a little bit of everything look good to you. So he thinking he about to marry Rachel. He thinking he about to marry Rachel. And Laban go ahead and slide Leah in there. He end up sleeping with Leah. He wake up like, what the hell is this? So he go to Laban and say, what the hell? What's up? Laban said, oh, I'm sorry. So what usually happens, cold game. Laban told him, he said, well, what usually happens is, you know, it's the tradition of our family. Our firstborn has to be married first, our firstborn daughter. He said, but if you want Rachel, you know, work for me another 7 years, and you got Rachel. So he hit him with he got him with a fast one, tricked him. He ended up having to work for another 7 years, ended up getting Rachel. And it says, now with Rachel, after they came together and everything, it says, and Laban gave Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. So one of the handmaids was also given with her to Jacob. And then it says, and he went also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet another 7 years. So he worked 7 years, got Leah, worked another 7 years, got Rachel, and then still stuck around for another 7 years, right? It says, and he loved Rachel, because that was the one he originally wanted. He said, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. That's the truth. Verse 31.
Verse 31, and when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren.
So it wasn't that Leah was literally hated. He didn't hate her. What it's saying is she wasn't as loved. Jacob had a favorite. Rachel was his favorite, right? So read.
Verse 32, and Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband will love me.
Read.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he had therefore given me this son also, and she called his name Simeon.
Read on.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons, therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing.
So we see here, and it's so crazy because it's one of those things where you got to really be sitting back. You got to really be examining the scriptures to know what's going on. So it told you off the rip. It said Jacob loved Rachel. Like that was who he wanted. That's who he was obsessed with. That's the one that he was working the original 7 years for, and he ended up with Leah. And even though Leah wasn't loved as much as Rachel was, she didn't put herself in a place to be like, well, he loves Rachel more, so I'm finna leave. No, what did she do? She did her wifely duty. She said, I'm going to stick around. This is still my man. I still love him, right? And she still bore him, at least at the beginning, 4 children. Back to back to back. So clearly he loved her. I mean, there was some affection there because he kept laying with her. They kept having kids. But the apple of his eye was Rachel. But Leah didn't feel away about it, or Leah didn't stress him out about it. She didn't go off on him about it. She wasn't tripping off of that. She said, I love this man. This is still my husband. And I'm going to still stick around, right? And then, and also she played her part. She played her role, again, as that wife. Now, let's drop down to 30 and verse 1. We're going to read 1 and 2.
Chapter 30, verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, I am in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb.
So Rachel's like, what's up? Leah keep getting pregnant. I need kids too. Say, I need children or else I'm going to die. Jacob was like, the hell, you think I'm God? Like, it's not up to me. It's up to the Most High, right? But through all of that, both of them, because as you continue to read on, Rachel was like, you know what? Sleep with my handmaid. She can be a surrogate for me. That'll be my children. Then Leah did the same thing. Then I believe Leah had more children. And then Rachel finally had children. But all that to say, it was always about their husband. They wanted to bear children and build up and raise up his house. It was never about them. Our foremothers weren't selfish in that regard, where it was like, oh, well, I can't. So you want to go be with someone else? Okay, well, I'm going to leave. They wasn't rocking like that. They wasn't rolling like that. They knew. They said, you know what? I'm riding with my man. I'm riding with my husband. It was always, how can we help to build this man's name and build this man up, right? Now watch this. Go to 1 Timothy 2. Because again, it was always in their mind, this ain't about me. This is about the Most High. This is about my head. He's going to guide me in the right direction. Let me just stick with him. And they were so focused on that. They were so focused on building his house. But let's see why, right? 1 Timothy. We're going to read chapter 2. And we're going to start at verse 13.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Now, this ain't the woman was first deceived and they the wicked ones, and, you hear that a lot. But this is the important part right here. Read verse 15.
Verse 15, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity.
Go ahead, read on.
And holiness with sobriety.
So it says, notwithstanding, even though sin started with the woman, we know that. It said, nonetheless, they are going to be saved in childbearing. So they understood a part of their salvation was hanging on the fact that they would become mothers, was hanging on the fact that they would bear children and raise children. Because it's more than just bearing a child. You can push out a kid and be a sorry mother, and there's no, what does it say? They shall be saved in childbearing. There's no you being saved just because you're pushing out kids. Childbearing is more than just having the child, but also raising them up to the point where they, of course, go over, being taken over by their father. So it said they already knew this. Rachel and Leah, they wanted to keep having kids for this man because they like, man, let's try to get this man as many productive and righteous seeds as we can. That's all that matters, because if we help him move up, then he's just going to pull us up with him as a righteous man, as we both see that he's being a righteous man. He's dealing with us righteously. So they understood this. Our foremothers understood the importance of being a mother. Our foremothers understood the importance in their role as a wife and as a mother. I know a lot of times our sisters feel like that role is so moot, is so insignificant. But you got to understand, you're literally the first teachers of our children. Without you guys, with everything that the man has to do, with everything, with brothers going out to the street and teaching and raising up Israel out there, we may not have as much time for the babies and the little ones. So if we can't do it and y'all not doing it, we doing a disservice to the nation. Because for all of the people that we bringing in, scriptures talk about having unprofitable children. That says a lot about us. If we got children that ain't even righteous, because those are extensions of my wife and myself. So I know a lot of times we look at it like, or our sisters look at it like, I need to get me a job. I need to get this. I need to get that. And they kind of disregard the importance of their role as a mother, the importance of their role as a wife. But the Most High said that is what's important. That is what I care about. How you going to raise up the next generation? Let's go to, we finna go to the book of Judges. So, yeah, Judges. So we see some of our foremothers that we rarely speak about. And they already had it in their mind. And this is what's so beautiful about them. They were so selfless. They said, all I want to do is please my man. All I want to do is get this man children, raise up righteous seed. And it's crazy because we really don't talk about Leah and Rachel much. We talk about Abigail. We even talk about the wicked ones, Jezebel. We talked about McCall. People like to bring up the prophetesses. And Deborah and Huldah, Judith. But we don't talk about Leah and Rachel, who were very instrumental. Because without a Leah and Rachel, there wouldn't be, without Leah specifically, we wouldn't even have Christ. Because she bore Judah. And Christ came from that particular line. And fortunately, they all raised their children to be right. So we could, as Jacob gave the blessings to all of the tribes, and then it continued on from there. And the Most High to this day still deals with us. Now, granted, we had some hiccups in the road. Of course, you read in Hosea, you read about how the tribes deviated. But had it started way back here, we would be in a whole lot of trouble. So all praise to the Most High that we had a Rachel, that we had a Leah, that decided, we're going to raise up these babies that we have, these sons and Dinah that we have. We're going to raise them up right. And I feel like it's amazing because, like I said, we barely talk about them. And they play a massive role in our history. But now we're going to jump over. Let's go ahead and get to our next foremother, another amazing woman, Deborah. So let's go to Judges. The book of Judges, chapter 4. And again, we're dealing with our foremothers because it's not often, that we deal with our righteous foremothers who played a huge role in Israel. And I know a lot of times our sisters are in a place where they're like, man, we don't talk much about us except when we being corrected. And it's unfortunate. It definitely, it's unfortunate. But at the same time, we talk about both sides for the men. We talk about our righteous men. And we talk about when brothers need to get their act together. And we talk about a lot of unrighteous men in Israel. So let's talk about Deborah. Let's flip over to Judges chapter 4. We're going to start at verse 4. We're going to read down to 6.
Judges chapter 4, verse 4. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lepido, she judged Israel at that time, and she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in Mount Ephraim, and the children of Israel came up to her for judgment.
So they sought her for advice. They said, Deborah, these are the situations that we have, and what should we do? Showing you that this woman was wise as hell. To say that the Most High was dealing with her, she was clearly wise. She was clearly heavy on wisdom. They was coming up to her like, Deborah, this is my situation. What should I do? Deborah, this is what's going on. What is the Most High telling you, right? And in this particular time, we were in captivity to the Canaanites. And we'll see the importance of that. I might actually just summarize it, but I believe we're going to talk a little bit about it. Read verse 6.
And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, Hath not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, Go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun?
So here, the Most High spoke with Deborah, and Deborah said, Barak, didn't the Most High tell you, or I'm letting you know that the Most High is telling you, get these men, because Barak was going to be the one to help free us from the hands of the Canaanites. So we were, as you continue to read on, there was a what is he called? A commander, a captain, whatever you want to refer to him as. His name was Sisera. And he was pretty much the one that was keeping us in check. And Deborah spoke with Barak and said, you're going to go to war with his army. But Sisera's going to live. Sisera's going to flee. And then he ended up getting killed by a woman named Jael. But let's drop down. So that's what ended up happening. They went to war. Sisera got away. A lot of Canaan's army a lot of Sisera's army got destroyed, got killed, and then he fled. He got caught. He got killed by Jael. Jael put a tent stake through his temples. But let's go to Judges 5. We're going to start at verse 1. We're going to read down to 7.
Judges chapter 5, verse 1. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, saying, Praise ye the Lord for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves.
Read.
Hear, O ye kings, give ear, O ye princes. I, even I, will sing unto the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord God of Israel.
So we defeated the army. We ain't being terrorized by them anymore. We decided, Deborah and Barak said, we're going to make a song. F it. We're going to make a whole song, right? Read.
Lord, when thou wentest out of Seir, when thou marchest out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled and the heavens dropped, the clouds also dropped water. Mm-hmm. The mountains melted from before the Lord, even that Sinai from before the Lord God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through, byways.
So they sitting up here making a whole song. They like, Lord, they basically giving praise to the Most High, right? Giving little synopsis of what happened in the song, but it's all praise to the Most High, right? And then now they're going to big up Deborah, verse 7.
The inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel until that I, Deborah, arose.
So it says the inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel until Deborah arose. Read.
That I arose a mother in Israel.
It said they called her a mother. The mother of Israel. So a lot of, just to put things into perspective, a lot of people feel, oh, well, they had prophetesses. Look, so what you mean a woman can't teach? And so, no, it's something, it's completely different. So in this particular time, we had individuals that the Most High was speaking to, that the Most High was dealing with. Deborah being the one in this particular time. And yeah, it says she was a prophetess, but it specifies here, it says she was a mother unto Israel. She was there to help nurture Israel, help nourish them, help give them advice. You had men that was like, Deborah, I'm having issues. You know, my wife is doing woo, woo, woo. What should I do? Deborah was a wise woman. She said, let me tell you what. Matter of fact, bring your wife here. Let's all talk. But you never read where she overstepped her boundaries to the men either, because she knew that there was order, again, in a testament to her wisdom. So we have one, and I want to get the other one. It doesn't have a lot. It doesn't say much about her, but we see, I'm using these to show you that the Lord dealt with our women too. It was funny. I had a conversation with a sister just the other day. She goes, I was sitting back and I was meditating, and it really hurt my spirit. I was hurt because I was really sitting back and I was thinking like, wow, you know, yeah, the Most High loves me and the Most High loves women, but he loves you men more. And I had to explain to her, I said, that's not exactly the case. He loves all of Israel, period. But there's this thing called a hierarchy that he's created, and the men sit above you guys on that. But you also have to remember, yes, we're in a greater role, which means we have greater responsibility. And if we don't fulfill these responsibilities, we have a greater judgment. So do you really, women get a little bit of leeway. That's why the scriptures tell you deal with them according to knowledge and honor them as the weaker vessel. Because the Most High already understands they're a lot more emotional than we are. When they have the moments, you got to deal with them in wisdom. That don't really work with men. You don't really read that in the scriptures about men. There's a certain way that we already have to conduct ourselves. And when you read, Most High wouldn't let a brother mess up. It wasn't no games. And then you read in the scriptures about the men that are leading and are leading people astray. He said, I got a greater judgment for you. I got something for your ass. That's real. So it's not so much as the Most High loves the men more than the women. It's that he has this thing called roles. He has this thing called a hierarchy. I created the man to lead. I created the woman to support. Those are your roles. He loves all of Israel, period. He said, but understand there are still roles. That is it. That is all. But let's continue on. Let's get to Huldah. Huldah the prophetess. And these ones, there's not a lot of history on them, but I want to bring them out to show you. The Most High was dealing with our women. Huldah was a prophetess. Most High would come holler at her to holler at Israel. Deborah was a prophetess. Most High would holler at her to holler at Israel. But again, when you read, you don't ever. The only time you see women getting out of pocket, situations like McCall. And what happened with McCall? She didn't have any children. Whether it was because David never laid with her again, or whether it's because the Most High closed her womb. She got out of pocket with David, and she never had children. Miriam got out of pocket with Moses and Aaron. She got slapped in the face with leprosy. Jezebel, who technically she was our foremother, but she wasn't of our nation. You have to go read the history on Jezebel. The way that she died was kind of funny. I'm not even going to front. She got shot off of a wall. And, but she was wicked as hell. But she ended up getting shot off of a wall. I think she fell when she hit the ground. She fell like behind a carriage or something. Got ate up by the dogs. Like the Most High did her cold. But when you read about women that was out of pocket, they was out of pocket, and these were the only times that you would see that. But when you read about our prophetesses and the way that they move, you don't read about them doing any of those things. But let's get to Huldah. 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 22. We're going to start at verse 14. So Josiah is king at this point. They find the book of the law. Excuse me. They find the book of the law, and they're like, yo, we found this book. And I believe it's from the Most High. And it's pretty safe to say we've been pissing him off because we ain't did none of this shit. And it was like, oh, man, what do we do? Josiah said, I believe it was Josiah. I don't recall. But if you read 2 Kings 22, nonetheless the priest ends up going to the prophetess. And he was like, Huldah, what do we do? And this is what she expresses to him. So we're going to start a little bit above, and then we're going to get into that actual point. 2 Kings 22, we're going to start at verse 14.
2 Kings chapter 22, verse 14. So Hilkiah, the priest, and Ahikam, and Akbar, and Shaphan, and Asahiah went unto Huldah, the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tekoa, the son of Harhas, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they communed with her.
So they was like, man, we need to go talk to Huldah. They said, well, Huldah stay over there in the college. Go over there and holler at her. They said they went in there and they communed with her. They said, hey, Huldah, we got to holler at you. We got questions, right? Verse 15.
And she said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, tell the man that sent you to me. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the words of the book which the king of Judah had read, because they have forsaken me and have burnt incense unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the works of their hands. Therefore my wrath shall be kindled against this place and shall not be quenched. But to the king of Judah.
So, hold on. So, they went to Huldah. They said, so we read this stuff in this book. And it's pretty deep. It's a lot going on in here. So, we just got to make sure that it's saying what we think it's saying, because what it said, we was probably like, that ain't what it's saying. And so Huldah was like, oh, no, concerning what you read, Most High said he's going to come tear some shit up. He's going to come destroy. He's going to tear up Judah. Y'all in trouble. They go, but, read verse 18.
But to the king of Judah, which sent you to inquire of the Lord, thus shall you say to him, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, as touching the words which thou hast heard.
It said, but to the king who's trying to live right and do righteously, sent you to me to talk to the Most High to figure this out. Read.
Wait, in that same verse?
Yeah, read on.
because thine heart was tender, and thou hast humbled thyself before the Lord, when thou heardest what I spake against this place and against the inhabitants thereof, that they should become a desolation and a curse, and hast rent thy clothes and wept before me. I have also heard thee, said the Lord.
It said, but this particular king clearly wants to do right. Said, you read this, you took heed, you repented, you was hurt. It says, I've heard that. I respect that. I feel you, Josiah. You want to do right. Verse 20.
Behold, therefore, I will gather thee unto thy fathers, and thou shalt be gathered into thy grave in peace.
He says, so because you want to do right, I'm not going to do it while you king. I'm going to wait till you die. You was good. You want to do right. So you going to live in peace. You going to die in peace. Read on. In thine eyes.
And thine eyes shall not see all the evil which I will bring upon this place. And they brought the king word again.
So we already knew. Damn, we in trouble. Josiah was like, man, go talk to Huldah. Maybe she can clear this up for us. She goes, oh, no, what you read is what it said. Most High said, he goes, yeah. We screwed up and we in trouble. He said, but because Josiah decided to come, he want to do right, he want to repent, he want to get everything together, said he ain't going to see it. You know, none of the destruction is going to come until after he dies. But all that to say, Most High was dealing with our sisters too. They came to the sister to see what the Most High had to say. So like I said, I know a lot of times, a lot of people like to mitigate, you know, our sisters in the scriptures. But no, the Most High was dealing with our sisters. The Most High was dealing with our brothers. As the scriptures say, the flock of my pasture are men, meaning these are my leaders. Just because you were a prophet didn't mean you were just automatically a leader. The kings were the leaders. The captains were the leaders. You had some prophets that were actually leaders. They were pushing. When you read Isaiah, when you read about Elijah, when you read about Jeremiah, they were pushing for people to repent. Those were the ones that, you know, you would consider leaders, but that wasn't always the case. But the Most High was still dealing with our sisters, was dealing with our women. We had some amazing foremothers. Like I said, one of the ones that we don't ever talk about, to see how much the prime example of humility and loving your husband and playing your role and embracing your role was Rachel and Leah. Two sisters. They had one man. Could have easily been like, well, fuck all that. Excuse my language, but fuck all that. He want to be with her. He like her more than he like me. I done gave him 4 kids. I'm done with him. Nope. She showed this ain't just about me. It's about this man. It's about my husband. Because if I ain't stressing him out and I got his back and I'm doing my role, even though it's 2 of us, bottom line is if we working together to excel and exalt him being a righteous man, as we exalt him, he pulls us up with him. So we all leveling up. They understood that concept. They understood the importance of we got to raise up our children. We got to raise up this next generation. The Most High said we will be saved through childbearing. That don't mean you push out a kid and now they wicked as hell because you didn't teach them. That's blood on your hands. Most High said you guys can be saved through raising up righteous seed to continue to worship him and push this word and push this truth. Rachel and Leah understood that. Then you have prophetesses, Deborah, who if it wasn't for her, Sisera wouldn't have ran into Jael. Sisera wouldn't have been killed. We'd still be under the Canaanites' captivity. Deborah told Barak to go do what he had to do. Huldah, another one the Most High was dealing with, had to get a whole breakdown of Josiah because Josiah was like, we read this book. It's a lot of dark shit going on here. Let's go talk to Huldah because it's saying what it's saying, but I don't think that it's saying what we think it's saying. So let's see if that's really what it said. So they went over to Huldah. Huldah said, no, that's what it said. But because you trying to live right, Most High got your back, Josiah. You going to live in peace. When you die, though, it's going to get to cracking. Let's get another one of our beautiful foremothers. This is the one that everyone loves. Everyone loves to use. Our wonderful foremother, our wonderful and beautiful foremother, as the scriptures describe her as, Abigail. Let's talk some Abigail. 1 Samuel chapter 25. 1 Samuel chapter 25. And I know a lot of us, we utilize Abigail when talking about remaining blameless, but really, I don't know how many people really read her story and dissected it to really be like, damn, that's really what happened. This is really what she did. This is really how she moved. Let's see. Because the thing with Abigail, before we even read, even though her husband was an idiot, Nabal, meaning a fool, like he was a complete jackass. He was an idiot. Though he was an idiot, she was a rider for him. Even though he was wicked as hell, she rode for that man. She saved his life. She could have easily been like, oh, this is gonna be David gonna kill this nigga. That's my out. I'm not gonna be married to him no more. Most High is sending me a blessing. Easily. But no. Through all of his idiocy, through all of his foolishness, she was riding for him. She saved his life. But let's actually read it. Let's see. Let's see. I really like this story. We'll start at 25:3.
1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 3. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb.
So they giving a quick, a brief preface on them. Abigail was beautiful. She was bad. And she was wise as hell. She had her wits. She was on top of her game. She was righteous. Nabal, an asshole. He was rich though. He had a lot of money. As when we read, you see, he had a lot of wealth. But he was just he's an a-hole. He's churlish, as they say. He was foolish. He was evil, right? Let's read verse 4. We're gonna read 4-13.
And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep, and David sent out 10 young men. And David said unto the young men, get you up to Carmel and go to Nabal and greet him in my name.
So everybody pretty much know who David is at this point. David was a little dude, only like 17, 18 years old, killed the giant Goliath, who was a warrior from birth. This little dude who was just shearing sheep. He was a shepherd at the time. And he said, that little pretty boy ass dude too. And he smashed on Goliath. So he got a big name. So he says, go greet Nabal, tell him, you guys come from me, y'all my folks, and just see if you can get something for us, right? Read.
And thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity, peace be both to thee. Verse 6, and thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity, peace be both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace be unto all that thou hast.
He says, so go and show some love, right? Read.
And now I have heard that thou hast shearers. Now thy shepherds which were with us, we heard them not, neither was there aught missing unto them all the while they were in Carmel. Ask thy young men, and they will show thee. Wherefore let the young men find favor in thy eyes, for we come in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thy hand unto thy servants and to thy son David. And when David's young men came, they spake to Nabal according to all the words in the name of David, and ceased.
So they went up. So David told him, man, go holler at Nabal, show him some love. We know he's wealthy. Let him know, can we have some? Can we have some food? I see you got shearers out there. Can we get something? We see that your pockets ain't empty. You ain't hungry. We hungry. Look, can you look out for us, right? And so his servants went over there. They went and talked to him, did all of that, showed respect, showed love, and said, we just asking, can you give us a little something, right? Read.
And Nabal answered David's servants and said, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse?
So first and foremost, he wasn't asking who was David like he didn't know. He said, who is this nigga? Am I supposed to care? Okay, you came in David's name. He ain't do nothing for me. Who's that to me? Because then you also read, and who is the son of Jesse? So he knew who this man was, because how would he know who his father was? He's basically saying, who is that? I don't give a damn. You can't care what David is talking about, right? Read.
There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master.
Uh-huh.
Shall I then take my bread and...
Hold on, wait. What's so cold in this scripture? Oh, my goodness. That's funny. I never even really paid attention to that. He said, who is David and who is Jesse? There's many servants that break away. So he said, nigga, David ain't nothing but a runaway. He ran away from Saul because Saul trying to kill him. We all already know. He said, you think okay, he's a runaway. Am I supposed to break bread and feed all of these damn y'all runaways? Because, I'm hungry and I'm out and I'm stranded. Am I supposed to care? So Nabal is just, he on one right now. That man is out of pocket, right? Start at the top of 10.
And Nabal answered David's servants and said, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? There be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master. Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be?
First he takes a shot. He ain't nothing but a damn runaway. So am I supposed to just give every time I see someone who, we're refugees, we're fugitives because such and such happened. So am I supposed to take the food and stuff that I got from my people and give it to y'all? I don't even know where y'all coming from and where y'all going. I ain't giving you nothing, right? Verse 12.
So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all those sayings.
So they sitting there, as Nabal is saying this, they're like, hey, I don't think this nigga really know David like we know David.
Right, calm.
It was like, he just disrespect you. If you know, like, you probably got that one friend. He's a real cool dude. Probably don't even look like a killer. Don't look like he really with the business. And you see somebody disrespect, and he's a really kind person, but you take him there, you know there's an issue. You know it. And so you're watching someone just disrespect them, and you're watching in awe, like, I don't think they know what's about to happen. That's what's going on right here. Nabal done took shots. He done called him a runaway. He just done disrespected David. And they looking at each other like, hey, are you hearing this? Should we tell him that he's signing his own death certificate? No? Let him finish? Okay. Okay, Nabal, so you said all of that. Is that your final answer? Are you sure? Are you positive that this is what you want us to go back and tell David? No, you're not. No, you're not listening. You have to hear what I'm saying right now. This is for the $1 million. On do you want to be a millionaire? I want to make sure. Do you want to phone a friend first? No? You want to ask the crowd? You want to ask the audience first? No. So you're absolutely positive You want us to go tell David exactly what you just said. He said it. Let's go tell him. So they said, so David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told him all those things, right? So I just want to give you the background so you understand the context of everything that's going on before we get to our foremother and how she saved this man's life, right? So verse 13.
And David said unto his men, gird you on every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by the stuff.
Wait. Nabal disrespected David. David could have went down there and whooped on Nabal himself. They came back to David. They said, look, hear me out. I know how you get, David. Just listen to me. You want to tell him? You want me to tell? That's fucked up, man. I got to tell him. All right, David. So we got some good news and some bad news. Good news is we found the ball. We talked to him. The bad news is that nigga disrespectful. David said, what did he say? They told him everything he said. He said, all right. Hold on. David, what you doing? I'm just, y'all get your swords, get your weapons. We finna ride down to this nigga house. We gonna do what? Yeah, we finna ride down to his house. So to make a point, David rode down there 400 deep to this one man. He said, you want to get disrespectful. All right, cool. Rode down there 400 deep, about to go kill this man. Verse 14, let's read on, 14 through 18.
But one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them.
So when all of this transpired, one of the servants was there and saw the stupid thing that Nabal did. And he sent David's servants away. And when they went away, his servant was like, oh, I don't think he know what he just did. I'm going to go tell Abigail because we know she's the one with some sense. So now David is headed down there. The servant went and told Abigail. Read verse 15.
But the men were very good unto us.
So, and then he explains the whole background behind it. David just wanted some food. But the thing is, David was looking out for us the whole time. And he just sent them down there to talk to Nabal because he could have easily just robbed us, but he didn't. He said he just wanted some food, and he asked Nabal, and Nabal railed on him, and he got disrespectful. He was out of line. He was asking to die that day. I don't think he knew what he had just done, right? Read on.
But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed we anything as long as we were conversant with them when we were in the field. He
said, so they wasn't trying to distract us to take anything. We sat up, we talked to them, we was chilling. They were sincere, and they looked out for us. Read.
They were a wall unto us, both by night and day, all the while we were with them keeping sheep.
It said, and they were literally a barrier, so the lions couldn't come, pillagers couldn't come. We was safe. They looked out for us. Read.
Now, therefore, know and consider what thou wilt do, for evil is determined against our master.
So they said, now, Abigail, you need to come up with something, because he about to die. It's bad. It's bad, Abigail. Do something, please. Read.
And against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial that a man cannot speak to him.
He said, Nabal is such a son of a... you can't even reason with him. He gonna get us all killed. Abigail, do something. Let's read verse 19.
You want to read 18?
I'm sorry. Oh, we didn't read 18. I'm sorry. Read 18.
Come. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses.
Now, here, this is something to note in your mind. And do not take this as, you give Israel an inch, they take a mile. Pay attention. So Nabal said, hell no, I ain't giving David nothing. Abigail said, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Now, while she did go against her husband's word, it was to his benefit because he was about to get himself killed. So she utilized her wisdom and said, I need to save my husband. Again, showing the virtue in this woman, because she could have easily said, the servants could have ran to her and said, you would have never guessed what Nabal just did. David and his men, listen, Abigail, David and his men was looking out for us. They kept the lions away. They kept pillagers away. All they wanted was some food. David sent some messengers down there and said, yo, can we have some food? We just a little hungry. And this boy got so damn disrespectful. It was out of this world. Abigail could have been like, that's his problem. Matter of fact, I've been tired of being married to his ass anyway. So as far as I look, it's a blessing for the Most High. Let David kill him and I'll be free. She could easily did that. But as a virtuous and righteous woman, she was like, you know what? No, that ain't no. I'm going to do what I know in my mind to be right. Bottom line is I need to stand by my husband. I'll talk to him later about it, but I need to save his life because as a righteous woman, as a virtuous woman, even though he was foolish, I still have to move this way. And the important thing about this is, even when you read, when we get to there, I'll bring that up. But the important thing about this is, she was still there to ride for her husband. And that's the beautiful thing, because you get a lot of brothers that tell sisters, like, look, if your husband is moving like whoop, 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 you need to remember Abigail. Really read and dissect Abigail. She probably had the worst of the worst husbands. One of the really righteous women to have like a horrible husband. And she still maintained blamelessness, right? And she still looked out for him, and she was still riding for him, even though he didn't deserve it. When we say look at Abigail, that's what we're talking about. Look at those traits that she has. True fear of the Most High. She said, the right thing to do, I know, is this. Let me not get caught up in my feelings. I know he's an asshole. I know he's a horrible man. But I know that as his wife, I'm supposed to do these things and move this way. That's what the Most High wants for me. When we talk about Abigail, y'all got to really examine her character. It's amazing. Read on.
And she said unto her servants, go on before me. Behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal. And it was so, as she rode on the ass, that she came down by the covert of the hill. And behold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Now David has said, surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow had in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertained unto him. And he hath requited me evil for good.
So Abigail runs into David. She meets David, and David's telling her, like, dude, I did a favor for this man, and he got real disrespectful with me. That don't fly here. Verse 22.
So and more also do God unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertain to him by the morning light, any that pisseth against the wall. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground.
So David pulls up. Abigail's just pulling up. He like, man, you know how like you're kind of recapping in your mind what went on before it's about to go down. Like, man, I gave this nigga everything, and he gonna have the nerve to say that I ain't never did nothing for him. I'm about to really whoop his ass, right? So David is recapping in his mind what's going on. He said, I really looked out for this dude. We just wanted to eat, and he had the nerve to disrespect me. He said, I would be a damn fool. I would be a poodle. I would be a mark if I allow him to disrespect me like that and don't kill him and everybody in his house. He said, just on GP, he got to go, and everybody there got to go. Abigail pulls up like, oh, damn, he's here, and he's deep. Whoa. Read on. Verse 23.
And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground.
She ran straight up to him and she was like, David, oh my God, hold on. Dropped down to her knees, gave obeisance, gave respect and reverence to him, right? Read.
And he fell at his feet and said, upon me, my Lord, upon me let this iniquity be, and let thy handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thy audience, and hear the words of thy handmaid.
Abigail said, the stupid stuff that he did, let that fall on me. Let that fall on me. Most women would be like, shit, that's his problem. That's too damn bad. He shouldn't have did that. She said, I know what he did was take it out on me. Let it fall on me, but let me just hear me out first. Let me talk to you first. But what he did, let that iniquity fall on me. I'm telling you, the virtue of this woman was ridiculous. It's admirable. She's definitely one to take a lot away from. Read on.
Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial.
And again, they said this wicked ass individual, this man of Belial, which is Belial or Baal, which is just a wicked man. Because to compare that, they're basically saying he's compared to an idolatress. An individual who commits idolatry is just the most wicked individual because you've set something else above the Most High. He said, this man is so damn wicked and foolish. He's a man of Belial, right? It said, but let his wickedness fall on me. Read.
Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his...
She said, but David, let's be real. His name, they literally call him a fool, David. Cut him a little slack, please. Nabal literally means the fool. He's a fool. Read on.
Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young men of my Lord, whom thou didst send.
She said, and you sent them to this idiot. Not like that, but let's be real. That's his name. He's evil. He's foolish. Y'all sent. If I would have saw, if they would have came to me, I would have had you. Verse 26.
Now, therefore, my Lord, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeing the Lord hath withholden thee from coming to shed blood, and from avenging thyself with thine own hand, now let thy enemies and they that seek evil to my Lord be as Nabal.
So she said, now the Most High put me here in front of you to try to stop you from killing us. It says now, verse 26, it says, and from avenging thyself with thine own hand, now let thine enemies and they that seek evil to my Lord be as Nabal. So you wanted to kill Nabal. It said, but let all of my enemies be as Nabal. Go kill them. I understand you are pissed and feel highly disrespected right now, but please do not kill this man. Drop down to verse 32. We're going to read to 35.
Verse 32, and David said to Abigail, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which sent thee this day to meet me. And blessed be thy advice, and blessed be thou, which had kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hand.
He said, You all right with me, Abigail? You real wise. I respect that. I'm gonna step back. I'm listening to you. I'm taking heed to your advice. All praise to the Most High. Blessed be to you. You got some real virtue. I don't know how you ended up with this clown, but you a real solid sister. Read on.
For in very deed, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, which had kept me back from hurting thee, except thou hast hasted and come to meet me, surely there had not been left unto Nabal by the morning light, and any that pisseth against the wall.
He said, if you didn't come out here in the time that you did, I was about to kill every damn thing that Nabal had to deal with. Anything that was associated with Nabal was dead. So it's a good thing you got out here. Read on.
So David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said unto her, Go up in peace to thy house. See, I have hearkened to thy voice, and have accepted thy person.
He said, I respect you. I respect what you did, Abigail. We'll take what you gave us, and we'll go on about our way. We're going to read 36 to 38. 36 to 38, yeah.
Verse 36, and Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in the house like the feast of a king, and Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken, wherefore she told him nothing less or more until the morning light.
So as dumb as the thing he did was, it said Abigail didn't go in the house and cuss him out. You dumb mother. You almost got us all killed. You old. That's why I wish I was never married to your stupid. None of that. Said she got home, saw that he was drunk as all hell, said, you know what? Today's not the day to talk to him about it. I'm going to let it go. Read on.
But it came to pass in the morning when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things.
So it didn't say she railed on him and went off on him. She said, Nabal, we have to talk. You don't understand what happened yesterday. You don't understand what was about to happen yesterday. And she ran him through the series of events. Read.
That his heart died within him, and he became as a stone.
He's sitting there. She telling him. He's like, for real? Oh, Jesus. Oh. he was like, I can't believe it. Right? Read on.
And it came to pass about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal that he died.
And eventually the Most High freed her of that foolish and wicked man. She stayed down. She stayed true. She stayed locked in, even though her husband was wicked as hell and the Most High made a way. She put her faith in the Most High, even with the foolish individual that she had. And he brought her, he brought her out of that situation and brought her to another situation, which, again, you see the virtue of this woman. She said, I'm riding with a righteous. I don't give a damn how many women he has with him. This is a righteous man. He's a rider. He's a protector. He loves the Most High. I know the Most High is dealing with him. He wasn't even a king yet. This was like his Abigail was like his third or fourth wife. And again, they wasn't worried about he got another one. They wasn't worried about none of that. They said, I'm riding with him because he's a protector. I'm riding with him because he's a provider. I'm riding with him because I see godliness in him. It wasn't about me. They understood that way back when. Really quickly, just reading this whole story, it's crazy. It reminds me of a situation about a year ago. And we was at a brother's house for his birthday. Well, we were at it. Yeah. So he had just turned. I forgot how old he had just turned. We was, just like what they did with Isaac when he was weaned from the breast. We had a feast. Like all praise to the Most High. He'd have made it another year. So we sat back. We was drinking. We was chilling. We was talking, and this was just, one of the situations that I recall. It was literally like an Abigail situation. The brother got irate. It was over a situation that had happened maybe a week prior. And they going back and forth and they're arguing. Originally, the anger is channeled at certain brothers. Then the anger transfers over to the mother, or the mother-in-law, rather, of him. And through everything that transpired, he got belligerent, and it was crazy. And even he had to be restrained. And he didn't remember none of it. But all that to say, through that whole situation, as wrong as he was, as foolish as he acted, as big of an embarrassment as he made himself to be in front of his family and even his friends, and he was one of the leaders. His wife was riding for him that whole way. Her mother was the one that got into it with him, and she was like, Mom, you need to go back upstairs. We got it. Don't worry. Don't come down. Like, she was like trying to have his back the whole time. Neighbors called the police. We was able to get him home. Even the very next day, she was upset. She was hurt. And she still had the conversation with him, but was respectful. And it was just crazy because, like, it literally reminded me of the Nabal and Abigail situation, where the husband was just out of pocket. And this woman was like, I'm going to still ride with him. We're going to talk about it later, but I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that he's okay and make sure that he's out of trouble. Do I need one more here? No. But yeah, so with Abigail had that same situation. Let's go to the book of Judith. So Abigail had that same situation. She could have easily been like a lot of people, not even just sisters, a lot of people today. I was tired of him anyway. Shit, if he gets shot, he gets shot. If he get killed, he get killed. We kind of just together just because, as they say, it's cheaper to keep her. But she understood the importance of being a righteous and virtuous woman. She understood the importance of her role as a wife. And she said, no, I'm going to ride for him either way. And the Most High made a way, because through all of his wickedness, the Most High finally said, all right, you're gone, you're done, no more. Abigail, I got something better for you. And he gave her something better. Now let's touch on another one that we talk about a lot. Judith, our beloved foremother, Judith. So let's go to Judith chapter 7. And we're going to start at verse 23. Judith 7, verse 23.
Judith chapter 7, verse 23. Then all the people assembled to Ozias and to the chief of the city, both young men and women and children, and cried with a loud voice and said before all the elders, God be judge between us and you, for you have done us great injury, and that you have not required peace of the children of Asher.
So, right now, the Assyrians are taking over everything. Holofernes comes to Israel and say, y'all need to, Babylon is taking over. And Holofernes says, y'all need to give credence to our God, our king, our leader, Nebuchadnezzar. And they was like, no. And so Holofernes felt disrespected. He said, we finna come and tear stuff up. We gonna come and seize you guys. Y'all gonna learn to respect him. So they come. They're sitting out there. They're waiting it out. They're pretty much going to try to starve us. So the people are at the elders right now like, why the hell did y'all do that? Why'd y'all tell them no? We should have just gave in to them, because now look at us. Look at where we at, so on and so forth, right? Let's drop down to verse 30. And let's see the response of the elders. Verse 30.
Then said Ozias to them, brethren, be of good courage. Let us yet endure 5 days, in which space the Lord our God may turn his mercy toward us, for he will not forsake us utterly.
So he said we're going to put the Most High on a time limit. Let's give him a week, or almost a week. Let's give him 5 days. Let's just pray to the Most High and wait it out. 5 days, right? Verse 31.
And if these days pass, and there come no help unto us, I will do according to your word.
Read.
And he dispersed the people every
I'm sorry,
one.
that's all I needed. So they was like, we should just give in to him. He said, nah, let's go ahead and we're going to get the Most High 5 days. Now, if he don't come through for us in 5 days, that mean he ain't coming. And if he and if that be the case, then I'm going to just go ahead. We're going to go ahead and give in to him just like everybody wants to. We're going to go ahead and do that, right? Let's read Judith chapter 8, verse 1. And then we're going to drop down to 7.
Judith chapter 8, verse 1. Now at that time Judith heard thereof, which was the daughter of Merari, the son of Ox, the son of Joseph, the son of Oziel, the son of Elsia, the son of Ananias, the son of Gideon, the son of Raphaim, the son of Asito, the son of Eliu.
Well, they're going through her lineage. I ain't going to do you like that. So they're going through her lineage. They said, now, here came Judith, right? Drop down to verse 7. So they're going to start kind of describing the type of woman that Judith was. Verse 7.
She was also of a goodly countenance.
So they said she used to fast all the time. She kept on her widow's apparel. She was a widow. Her husband had died. She was always fasting with the exception of the Sabbaths and the new moons and the solemn feast days. Now it's going into her character. It says she was of goodly countenance. And what else?
And very beautiful to behold.
And she was bad. Read.
And her husband Manasseh had left her gold and silver and manservants and maidservants.
And she was well off. Her husband died and he had bank and he looked out for her. So she was bad. She was wise. And she was rich. Verse 8.
And there was none that gave her an ill word, for she feared God greatly.
She was blameless, right? Let's drop down to verse 10.
Then she sent her waiting woman that had the government of all things that she had to call Ozias and Shabris and Charmis, the ancient of the city.
So she asked, can I come talk to the elders? I heard what was going on, and I don't exactly agree, but I want to come talk to the elders, right? Read verse 11.
And they came unto her, and she said unto them, hear me now, O ye governors of the inhabitants of Bethulia, for your words that you have spoken before the people this day are not right, touching this oath which ye made and pronounced between God and you, and have promised to deliver the city to our enemies, unless within these days the Lord turn to help you.
She said, elders. We shouldn't do that. You don't put God on a time limit. And then you say, well, God, if you don't do this in this amount of time, then we're going to do this. Don't give stipulations to the Most High. We shouldn't be doing that, right? Read.
And now who are you that have tempted God this day?
She said, look at if you realize what's going on, you're tempting the Most High. Oh, you only going to give me 5 days? I think about doing it in 6 instead. We shouldn't do that. That's not okay, right? Read.
And stand instead of God amongst the children of men. And now try the Lord Almighty, but you shall never know anything.
Read.
For you cannot find the depth of the heart of man, neither can you perceive the things that he thinketh. Then how can you search out God that had made all these things and know his mind or comprehended his purpose?
She said, you don't even know why he's doing what he's doing. So how are you going to put him on a timeline? How are you going to say he only gets this amount of days? He may decide to do it in 6 days. He may decide to do it in 10. We may be just on the brink of starvation, and then he decides to save us. You don't know how the Most High's mind works. You don't know how he's going to do it. That's not right. You shouldn't do that. Read.
Nay, my brethren, provoke not the Lord our God to anger.
Don't piss him off. Read.
For if he will not help us within these few days, he had power to defend us when he will, even every day, or to destroy us before our enemies.
So she says, so don't give him these 5 days, because if he don't do it in these 5 days, remember, he can do it whenever he wants. Matter of fact, he could sit up here and destroy us in front of everyone, and they won't even be able to take over us because we're all going to be dead. You got to remember that, right? Read on.
Do not bind the counsel of the Lord our God, for God is not as man, that he may be threatened, neither is he as the Son of Man, that he should be wavering. Therefore, let us wait for salvation of him, and call upon him to help us, and he will hear our voice if it please him.
So she went and she literally reproved the elders. She didn't rebuke them because she still knew her place. But she came and she reasoned with them. She said, elders, this ain't right. Look at what you're doing. Think about this. If you do this, then that's going to trigger that. You don't know how the Most High works. We should not do that. Verse 17 is where she pleads with them. Therefore, let us wait for salvation to him and call upon him to help us, and he will hear our voice and it will please him. She gave them a solution. Again, still staying in her place. She ain't go off like, what the hold up. I mean, first of all, everybody already know how wise I am, so I can get away with saying certain things. So I'm going to go up to the elders and let them know that this is some dumb stuff that they doing. No, she went up to them. She still remained blameless. She still remained wise. She still remained in her place, and she still was able to correct them and said, let's not do it this way. As the scripture says in Proverbs 31, for a virtuous woman, it says the law of kindness is in her mouth, or proceedeth out of her mouth, or out of her lips. So she even understood that I have to speak kind words. I have to speak wisely to these men. These men are still above me. I can come correct them because no man is above correction, but there's a way that I have to do it. So she understood that. So she moved in wisdom, right? Drop down to verse 28. We're just going to read 28.
Verse 28, then said Ozias to her, all that thou hast spoken spoken with a good heart, and there is none that may gainsay thy words.
And the elder said, damn, you make a compelling argument, Judith. Nobody can, literally, there's nothing that anyone can say back about that. That makes a lot of sense. Clearly, your husband had a good one. All praise to the Most High that you came to us, because we was about to do something stupid. Let's flip over to chapter 10. We're going to read 18 through 23.
Judith chapter 10, verse 18.
So real quick, so they devised a plan, and they said, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Just let me, I'm going to go out of my way to try to help, right? So we can save the nation. Let's read verse 18.
Verse 18, then was there a concourse throughout all the camp, for her coming was noise among the tents, and they came about her as she stood without the tents of olive ferns, till they told him of her. And they wondered at her beauty, and admired the children of Israel because of her. And every one said to his neighbor, who would despise this people, that have among them such women? Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who being let go might deceive the whole earth. And they that lay near olive ferns went out, and all his servants, and they brought her into the tent. Now olive ferns rested upon his bed under a canopy, which was woven with purple and gold and emeralds and precious stones. So they showed him of her, and he came out before his tent with silver lamps going before him. And when Judith was come before him and his servants, they all marveled at the beauty of her countenance, and she fell down upon her face and did reverence unto them, and his servants took her up.
So she goes into the camp, and they all looking like, damn, who is this? She bad. She came from who? Oh, them cats that wasn't trying to. Damn. Okay. Man. Is this how they all look? I mean, let's be real, man. Our women are the most beautiful thing on earth. They said, is this how they all look? oh, we can't, we might have to rethink this. We ain't gonna just go in there and kill him. Let's flip over to chapter 11, verse 1.
Chapter 11, verse 1. Then said Oliphers unto her, Woman, be of good comfort, fear not in thy heart, for I never heard any that was willing to serve Nebuchadnezzar, the king of all the earth. Now, therefore, if thy people that dwelleth in the mountains had not set light by me, I would not have lifted up my spear against them, but they have done these things to themselves.
So Oliver is like, oh, don't worry about it. I ain't going to hurt you. You came down. You want to worship Nebuchadnezzar with us. He said, now the issue is with your people. They decided to be disrespectful, and they don't want to worship him. So, you know, I got to do what I got to do. It ain't nothing personal to you. And so as you read on, she's sitting here. She's deceiving this man. She's deceiving Holofernes. Like, yeah, I came down from over there, and I don't know, they tripping. They don't want to give in and submit to Nebuchadnezzar, but we know that he's the true ruler, and, you know, we're supposed to give reverence. So I said, I got to go. I'm finna go down here with you guys because I know what's coming. And I don't want no parts of that, right? Let's drop down verse 9.
Verse 9, now as concerning the matter which Achior did speak in thy council, we have heard his words, for the man of Bethulia saved him, and he declared unto them all that he had spoken unto thee. Therefore, O Lord and governor, reject not his word, but lay it up in thine heart, for it is true, for our nation shall prevail against them, except they sin against their God. And now that my Lord be not defeated and frustrate of his purpose, even death is now fallen upon them, and their sin hath overtaken them, wherewith they will provoke their God to anger.
So when you read earlier on, after Israel was like, we not finna bow down and kiss the ring to y'all, and Holofernes was like, who the hell is these people think they're gonna just disrespect us like this? Achior came and he said, these people, and he gave them a whole breakdown. You read in Judith chapter 5, I believe, where he goes into the history of Israel. They started off over here. They migrated here. They did this. They did that. Now, they're in a good space right now, Holofernes. You might want to wait to attack them because their God is going to fight for them, and we will die. Holofernes wasn't trying to hear that. Judith had heard about that story, and told Holofernes, no, what he said was true. But right now they are being wicked, so you can attack them, right? Let's drop down to verse 21.
Verse 21, there is not such a woman from one end of the earth to the other, both for beauty of face and wisdom of words.
So Holofernes was feeling her, but he also felt what she was saying. He goes, you know what, them some wise words. Man, you bad and you smart. Man, she got it all. I'm feeling this one. But yeah, we gonna go ahead. We gonna take that advice though. Yeah, you right. We gonna go ahead and do it like that. Let's drop down to Judith chapter 12 and read 7 and 8.
Judith chapter 12, verse 7. Then Holofernes commanded his guard that they should not stay her. Thus she abode in the camp 3 days, and went out in the night into the valley of Bethulia, and washed herself in a fountain of water by the camp. Mm-hmm. And when she came out, she besought the Lord God of Israel to direct her way to the raising up of the children of her people.
So she had the conversation with Holofernes. She left, and he told his men, don't stay out there with her. Don't be bothering her and harassing her. Y'all take her where she needs to go, and y'all get the hell on. And so she was out there. She bathed. She washed herself. She prayed to the Most High. Like, Most High, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not sure how we going to get this done, but I have the utmost faith that you will prevail. Lord, give me some guidance, right? That I can save our nation. Let's drop down to, because I don't want to read all of that. So then you read on, just a quick summary. So then you read on, she's all cleaned up. They end up having a feast. Holofernes ends up having a feast for his people. He said, hey, invite the sister that want to, commune with us, and she want to submit herself to Holofernes and all of that good stuff, right? Verse... I want to start at verse. Then when Judith came and sat down. Let's start at 15.
Verse 15, so she arose and decked herself with her apparel and all her woman's attire, and her maid went and laid soft skins on the ground for her over against Holofernes, which she had received of Bogoes for her daily use, that she might sit and eat upon them. Now when Judith came in and sat down, Holofernes, his heart was ravished with her, and his mind was moved, and he desired greatly her company, for he waited a time to deceive her from the day that he had seen her.
He said he been trying to get them skins. He said, man, she bad. Then she came in. It says she decked herself with apparel. So first of all, she came in looking like a snack. Holofernes was like, God, whoo, shit, okay. It said he was ravished. He said he saw her. He goes, oh, man, it's getting hot in here. I don't think I'm going to be able to stand up. And then it says, and he desired greatly her company, for he waited a time to deceive her from the day that he had seen her. He said, I'm trying to get her by myself. I know, talking about I ain't going to hurt you and all this other stuff, but, I'm not going to try to kill you, but I'm trying to get some. Stop playing. So he was like, I just need some alone time with her, right? So he ends up getting his alone time. Let's read Judith chapter 13. We're going to start at verse 1.
Judith chapter 13, verse 1. Now when the evening was come, his servant made haste to depart, and Boaz shut his tent without and dismissed the waiters from the presence of his Lord, and they went to their beds, for they were all weary because the feast had been long. Mm-hmm. And Judith was left alone in the tent, and Holofernes lying along upon his bed, for he was filled with wine.
So they said, hey, Holofernes in there with the, with the new beautiful sister. Y'all get the hell out of here. Y'all stop cop blocking, man. Get out of here. Everybody went to bed. Everybody went to sleep. They said, oh, you go get some. I'm going to ask him in the morning. How was it? She was bad. Hey. Holofernes in there with old girl, man. She was feeling him all night. He was sitting next to each other. You can tell she had something for him since when she first pulled up. I mean, I guess he the captain and all, so he got the power. That was some BS. But, man, I ain't gonna front, bro. I'm jealous. So they're like, man, he about to, she in there with him, right? He don't even know what's about to happen. Verse 3.
Now Judith had commanded her maid to stand without her bedchamber, and to wait for her coming forth as she did daily. For she said she would go forth to her prayers, and she spake to Bogoes according to the same purpose.
So she told her the same thing. Hey, wait for me outside of my room, and I'm going to come out because I want to pray, right? Let's drop down. Let's start at verse 6. Let's start at 5, I'm sorry.
Verse 5, for now is the time to help thine inheritance and to execute mine enterprises to the destruction of the enemies which are risen against us.
She's sitting there talking to the Most High like, Lord, this is it. I believe this is the chance that you were giving me, Lord. I gotta do what I gotta do. Verse 7. No, I'm sorry, verse 6.
Then she came to the pillar of the bed, which was at Holofernes' head, and took down his falchion from thence, and approached to his bed, and took hold of the hair of his head, and said, Strengthen me, O Lord God of Israel, this day. And she smote twice upon his neck with all her might, and she took away his head from him.
So she hit him held him by his head. He was drunk, like flat out on his back drunk. Held him by his hair and said, ha, ha, got his head off. Took his head off. He thought he was going to end up getting some. That boy lost his life. Most High used Judith, another one of our sisters, another one of our foremothers, used her to keep Israel from going into captivity at that time. But when you read about this foremother and you see the wisdom that she had, when she went to the elders in humility. She said, elders, don't do this. Even though they was wrong as hell, she could have easily been like, this shit is stupid. What are y'all doing? I thought y'all feared the Most High. But she knew her place. She said, I'm not going to disrespect the elder. I'm not going to disrespect the men. She said, but I'm going to go reprove them because it's not right what they're doing. She said, just let's talk to the Lord. Let's figure this out. He's gotten us out of things all the time. Let's move righteously. Don't what you're doing right now is wicked. Don't do that, guys. They say, you know what? Damn, you're right. Ain't nobody argue with that one. You are absolutely right. All right, sis. Well, we gonna pray and we're going to figure it out. And the Most High used this woman to free Israel. The Most High used this woman to make sure that we didn't go into captivity to the Babylonians at that time. Again, our foremothers played a huge role in our history. I want to get one more. I'm going to have to figure out how we're going to skip through it because we're short on time. 2 Maccabees chapter 7. This one was, man, you can really understand it when you have kids, when you see what this woman went through. Let's start at verse 1.
2 Maccabees chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips.
So they were forced to eat pork. And they said, hell no, we ain't eating that. We know the Most High said that's wicked. It said that they were tormented. They was beat. They were lashed, right? But let's see how bad it was. We're going to kind of jump around because we don't have much time, but read it. When you get a chance. It's only 42 verses. Go read 2 Maccabees chapter 7 and see how this woman raised up her sons to never fold. I don't give a damn if the pressure is so heavy that it's literally unto death, you don't fold, son. We ride for the Most High. If they kill you, they kill you. She was something that our sisters as a mother need to look at. Like, you never compromise. I don't give a damn what it's for. Most High said don't do that. Our women teach the children, under no circumstances will you do that. Under no circumstances will you fold, because you are the chosen. And you're not going to let anybody else tell you different. You ain't going to let anybody else pressure you into doing something that's wrong, because you are better than that. And she pressed the issue on that. First son, it says, I'm going to read verse 2 real quick. It says, but one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Verse 3, then the king, being enraged, commanded pans and cauldrons be made hot. So the scriptures, the mother already told them, we don't fold. They talking to the king like, we ain't going to eat that, and you're not going to make us. We ready to die. And he said, what? Oh, we going to see right now. They started boiling a big old man-sized pot, a cauldron. Said they heated it up. Verse 4, It says, which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake. So this is the oldest kid. They done cut his tongue out and cut off the utmost parts of his body. So they literally dismembered this man. And the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. So they're watching their brother be tortured. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire and be fried in a pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, the Lord looketh upon us, and in truth hath comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servant. So they said he was dying, and they were comforting him, like, don't fold. We gonna die with you. We riding with the Most High. And the mom was right there too. Says, I'm going with you. Believe that. The second brother, they scalped him, pulled off his hair and his scalp, pulled him back, fried him too. Then it goes on. There's one, where does it say it? It's like verse. Okay, it's verse 21. So we're going to get there in a second. So she's watching all of her sons one by one be killed. Let's drop down to verse 18.
Verse 18, after him also they brought the six.
So they done killed 5 of her sons in her face already. Read.
Who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us.
So he's saying it's not us specifically, but he's saying our people. We messed up. So don't think that you're doing anything great. The Most High put us in these conditions, and we just happen to be the casualties of war here. But we still gonna ride for the Most High and be ready to die. Our people screwed up. We got to pay for it. It is what it is. Verse 19.
But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished.
He said, but best believe the Most High gonna get you back. So I'm not even worried. Verse 20.
But the mother was marvelous above all and worthy of honorable memory. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day.
So they sat there. This wasn't like it happened in 10 minutes. It takes a minute to dismember a person. It takes a minute to scalp a person. This was hours, and she's watching her sons go through this. It said, but she was the most marvelous because she was able to endure all of this, and she still ends up taking the bullet too. She dies too, right? Read on.
She bare it with a good courage because of the hope that she had in the Lord.
She said, I see it. It hurts. But I know the Most High. I know that they gonna receive the kingdom because they was riding, period. And they knew, and she knew, don't worry about it. Most High gonna get your ass back. I'm not even gonna sweat it. He gonna have the last laugh. We gonna get the kingdom. We gonna be over y'all anyway. Verse 21.
Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language.
It said, and she encouraged them in her own language when they were speaking to each other in Hebrew because they didn't understand it, but the woman and her 7 sons did. She was talking to them in Hebrew and was like, we gonna go through with it. To hell with what they think, right? Read.
Filled with courageous spirits and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach, she said unto them.
It said, as a mother, she's hurt. Like, oh my God, just stop. Don't do that. It said everything that she was thinking, she was sitting there worried. She's like, oh my God, my babies. It said she sucked it up because she knew, I'm not finna make them to hell with that. We got people that feel a way about atonement. You gonna make the babies fast? This woman let her kids, for the Most High, she said, man, I know I'm feeling away right now. I know this hurts. I can't believe this is happening, but I'm gonna suck that shit up because I know what the Most High is going to do. And I know that these men who decided to ride and die for the Most High is going to have a special place with him because they was ready to ride for him. She sucked it up. Read.
And stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach, and she said unto them, I cannot tell how you came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the creator of the world, who formed the generations of men and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as you now regard not your own selves for his law's sake.
He said, best believe the Most High is going to get, he got you. Don't even worry about it, right? So then verse 24, it says, Antiochus thinking himself despised and expecting it to be. So she's speaking to him in Hebrew. Antiochus doesn't know what's going on. So he's like, I know the mama's telling him some BS. I know the mama's sitting there telling him not to eat this stuff, and I'm trying to get this nigga to eat it, right? It said that suspecting him to be a reproachful speech whilst the youngest was yet alive did not only exhort him. So Antiochus said, damn, okay, let me try to see if I can bribe him. It says, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and happy man, and he would turn from the laws of his father, and that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with his affairs. He said, dude, if you just eat it, look, you ain't even gonna die. Not only, and I'm gonna reward you with riches. Just eat it. Come on, bro. Eat the damn pork. God damn it. Eat it. So he's like, dog, I'm gonna make you rich. I'll give you whatever you want. Do you know I'm a captain? I'm a governor. I will make you my right hand. Just bite it. You ain't gotta eat the whole thing. Just bite it. Mom's like, ignore this nigga. We ain't gonna eat it. No. And he knew, right? In verse 25, it says, but when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man. He said, so he wasn't listening. And so Antiochus was like, God, woman, talk some sense into your son. Let's see what she says. Verse 20. And when he exhorted her with many words, verse 26, she promised him that she would counsel her son. She didn't promise that she would tell him to give in, but she promised that she would counsel him. Let's see what she says. Verse 27, read that.
But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner, O my son, have pity upon me, that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with my brethren.
She said, son, bump what he talking about. You gonna ride for the Most High. And if that means you got to die today, I know that I'm going to receive y'all again. We all going to end up dying today. We're going to look death in the face today. But understand that the Most High got us, right? So this is the craziest part right here. The son is hilarious. And it says, while she yet verse 30, while she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the laws that was given unto our fathers by Moses. So mom's is talking. She didn't counsel him. He looks at his mother. Said, you right, mama. Look over at Antiochus. He said, what you niggas waiting for? Let's go. I'm not going to eat it. Antiochus like, God damn it. Damn. You mean you not going to eat it? He said, dude, what are you waiting for? Let's get it over with. Hell, you going to kill me regardless because I'm not going to do it. Let's get it done. Let's drop that. And then he continues on. He expresses to Antiochus, but understand, when you done with this, the Most High, he going to deal with you. He got something special for you, Antiochus. So go ahead and do what you do. But just understand there's a special type of death waiting for you. And there's a special place in hell for you too, you bastard. Drop down 39.
Verse 39. Then the king, being in a rage, handled him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked.
So because he had a lot more to say, Antiochus gave him a special type of torture. Read.
So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in the Lord. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died.
So after all of that, after the youngest son was tortured because he popped off at the mouth, he told him, he said, "You gonna kill me? Kill me. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna follow the king's commandment. I'm gonna ride with the Most High. I done already talked to my moms. We chose that we gonna ride for this. If we die, we die. It is what it is. But guess what? You gonna die too, Antiochus." And now you gotta understand the narcissist that Antiochus Epiphanes was. Dude thought he was God himself anyway. So the fact that you got this nigga, you heard what this nigga said about it. First, he probably was one of the people that spoke in third person. You heard what he said about Antiochus? He must not know who Antiochus is. Antiochus is enraged right now. How dare you disrespect Antiochus like that? Excuse me, Antiochus has something special for you. So you can't even imagine how pissed off he was that the youngest son had the balls to say what he said to him. Said he tortured this man because he was enraged at the fact that he disrespected him. And then it said, last of all, the mother died. So those are just some of our foremothers in Israel. Read the history of our foremothers. We have a lot of wonderful and rich history regarding our foremothers. They've showed us, they've exemplified righteousness. They've exemplified what it looks like to really ride for the Most High. You even see that they was willing, they lost all of their kids and even their own lives for the Most High. The righteous women of Israel. We see how even when they were right in situations, they still knew their place and knew how to come to their head, whether it was a husband or the leader of the nation at the time. They knew how to come with them with respect. They knew how to come with them, come at them with reverence, even though they was pissed off, even though they felt offended or whatever the case was. They always maintained they knew their place because they would never disrespect the Most High. And to disrespect his order is to disrespect him. So our foremothers knew these things. They weren't selfish. They said, everything that I'm doing for the Most High. Everything that if they had a husband, everything I'm doing for my man. I don't have selfish intentions. Okay, cool. He has someone else, but I'm going to still be the best wife that I can be. We going to be the best wives that we can be in order to exalt him so he can continue to pull us up. And then we exalt him some more, and then he pulls us up again. And we leveling up that way. Our foremothers weren't selfish. Our foremothers weren't foolish. And our foremothers really feared the Most High and was riders for the Most High, ready to die. Ready to even bite the bullet and take the L for their husbands. Nabal, perfect example, a fool. And Abigail said, let his iniquity fall on me. David, here, just take all of this stuff. Please don't kill him. When she could have easily been like, damn, I'm finally about to be free. I've been tired of him any damn way. All of this stuff getting left to me anyway. Cool. Righteousness, virtue. Go back and read on our foremothers. Don't just read it. Really sit back, read it, dissect it, meditate on it. Let it resonate in your spirit. Let it resonate in your stomach. Let it resonate in your mind. And really see how our women used to move. Because we had some amazing foremothers, and our women had an amazing history. Our women play a huge role in our history. I know a lot of times our sisters feel like their role is very insignificant. It's not. You guys played a huge role in history. You guys play a huge role today. So Most High willing, this was an edifying lesson. Most High willing, everyone got something out of it. If you didn't watch the whole thing, go back and watch it from the beginning and learn about your foremothers. They were amazing. They were spectacular. It's crazy to read about the things that they really did. Because people feel like, oh, we're supposed to be delicate and we don't go to war. Shh, we had killers. Judith, JL. I got to do what I have to do. We gonna say that they weren't warriors. They weren't out there going to war. But if they had to put somebody down, then they did. If they had to die for the Most High, they would. They even taught their children, we don't fold under pressure. Pressure does two things. Pressure can either burst something. Well, actually, if you ain't solid, pressure will make you crumble. But one of the beautiful things that pressure does do, pressure makes diamonds. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. And that's what they was teaching. Whenever that pressure comes on, you gonna shine. Pressure can either break you or pressure can make you shine. And our foremothers said, y'all gonna shine. We don't go for none of that. So y'all go back. If you didn't watch the whole thing, go back, watch this history. Watch this lesson on the history of our foremothers. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. And if you haven't already, like the page, share the video. This is great information and great edification for the nation and for the people. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you guys' support. All praise to the Most High. And with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.